If your home was a person and was going on a big job interview, well, would it get the job?
A new place, a new home, for a while, let me feel alive.
So your home is going on a big job interview. That's basically what a showing is. So is your home being presented the best way it could possibly be? So think about this. So your home, does it come in early? Is it all well presented? Is it dressed nice? Is it clean? Is it ready to go? Does it have all the right things to say? Or is it the one that comes in at the last minute? Maybe it's a little late. It's a little sweaty because it was running to get there because it wasn't quite ready. And everything's a little bit disheveled and doesn't really have all the right things to say. Now, which one, if that were your house, which one would get the job? That's what we're going to talk about next when we get your house ready for its big interview. And we're going to talk about all the ways to do it in this video coming up next. Today, we're talking about staging a home. And we're not talking about just any home, we're talking about occupied homes. And that's completely different than the model homes that you're seeing at the builders. But we're gonna make it look better than the builders' homes, and we're gonna use your own furniture to do it. So stick with us until the very end, because I've got the #1 mistake that homeowners make when staging their home to sell. Today, we're in one of our newest listings, and we just finished staging it. Now, you might look around and go, wow, that looks like a model home, which is exactly what kind of thinking we want you to think. But this isn't actually an occupied home. Now, staging occupied homes is a little bit more challenging, and it's a little bit different. I think anybody can really go into a empty home and bring in all new furnishings and new artwork. But what makes it challenging for an occupied home is we work with your existing pieces of furniture. And we do not do renovations, anything like that. We don't do painting, but we go with it. We've even gone with an orange loft. Yes, you heard me right. It was orange. We wondered if we could ever actually pull this one off, but it came out perfectly. That was several years ago. And I have to say, to this date, the bright orange walls was the most challenging. Now, one of the things that we do as stagers is we really try to go with what the homeowner has in mind already. So this homeowner loves the orange color, so we had to really roll with the orange color. And we wanted it to appeal to buyers, and many times bright colors and unusual colors might be fine for the homeowner, but they don't really appeal to the mass groups of buyers, and we really want to appeal to as many people as possible. So this orange was a little bit of a challenge. So what we did is we really kind of toned down the orange by increasing the browns and the khakis and the tans, and we went with kind of a safari theme. We brought in some green plants, several different green plants. We brought in a fur blanket to give it that kind of safari feel. We've got the zebra on the wall. We've got a giraffe in the lookout area. And so we brought in those little animal print kind of things because it really kind of tones down the orange, and it actually made it really fun. You'd be surprised when we were showing this home and we held it open for a couple of weekends, how many people commented that they really enjoyed this room. So we turned it from kind of a negative into a real positive and something that really people really enjoyed looking at. Occupied home staging can be a challenge, but what we do is we really roll with whatever you have. We've also done a hot pink room. Hot pink. So we've done orange, we've done hot pink, and you know what? They've come out fabulous. So when you're doing something like that, you might have to think about what exactly is going on here. What's the furniture? What's the paint color? What do we have to roll with a dark brown wall? That sort of thing. So we really pick out furnishings and we move furniture around to really work with the items that you already have to bring out the best in your home. When staging a home to sell, it's really important to pick out the unique features. And one of the unique features of this particular home are these little storage nooks. And we've turned one into a reading nook where we put added cushions, books, glasses, some props, that sort of thing. This also opens up for storage. So we've set the other one up to be able to be opened where you can see the storage items. So we didn't do both of them as reading nooks. So you want to highlight the different options that are available whenever you're doing some kind of a listing. You want to pick out the features and really highlight them. When you're getting your house ready to sell and you want to stage it to sell, which is different than staging it for other purposes, but we're talking about staging it to sell, you really want to focus on highlighting some of the features. Now, we just highlighted the reading nook, so we changed one of the corners into a cozy little reading nook with pillows and books to give people an idea of what they could do. On this side, we've left it a little bit more blank, and what I'm going to show you now, and we did take photos in a couple of different ways. So I'm going to move this plant right here. And this one actually is a storage where you can put storage underneath this nook. So we didn't put cushions on this because we really want to highlight the fact that you can do different things. So when you're showing a buyer, you want to make sure that the buyer sees, oh, I'm not a big reader, that isn't something I might be interested in, but going, oh, well, there's storage, you could do other things, you could put plants here, you could do all kinds of things, and just to really balance it out so you appeal to as many people as possible. One of the challenges with this dining room are these glass blocks. Now, we love the glass block. It's beautiful. It's privacy, but light in your dining room, so it really highlights the room really well. But the fact is, it's off-center. So when you're putting a piece of artwork, it can really be a little bit strange and off-putting. So for instance, if I take this square piece of artwork, let's say we wanted to put it here, you can see that it actually doesn't balance very well. So we chose a piece of art, or a mirror in this case, that's a little bit different shape. So you actually have both of the shapes and they balance out. So you see this from when you come in the room, and you want this balance. You don't want to have a big square piece of art that looks off center and off of the middle with that light. So you have to really work with the features of the home. And when there are unique features like that, we really like it, but you really have to roll with it. Now we're in the kitchen, which is one of the most important rooms when staging a home. Kitchen, bedroom, bathrooms, obviously the living area. Everybody can kind of get an idea of the living area, but for the kitchen is really important because people eat 3 times a day and they're in here a lot. So you want to show the functionality of it. So of course, we want to clear the decks. All of the cabinet countertops need to be cleared out. We want to show that this is the granite countertops, which is a really nice feature. And one of the things in this kitchen is a little bit dark. And so once we cleared off all the cabinets, we wanted to make sure we highlighted under the cabinet, and they didn't have the lights. So we use these stick-up lights, which is a great little tip. If you get those little stick-up lights, they're not very expensive. You can put them underneath the cabinet, and then what a difference that makes in the staging of the home. And it shows the light, and it actually shows how deep the counters are. And I think that's really an important feature to highlight. And then of course, you always want to turn on the light above the stove too before you're doing the photos. Green is really important in all of the rooms, and you'd be surprised what a difference it makes once you add a little depth and a little green to every room. So we usually like to add a little bit of green above the refrigerator or above the cabinets, just to kind of highlight the cabinets, and it really shows the wood cabinets, I think, in a nice way. The contrast of the color, it shows the depth, and it shows the beauty. One of the other things that we like to do is we have some of these fake vegetables. Here's some artichokes, we got some pears and lemons. Gives it a pop of color, and it also showcases, that there's food being made here. Now you can use fresh items. That's very easy. Get a bag of lemons and use those for your props. When we do staging, we like to use artificial because we just know it lasts longer and we don't have to worry about them rotting or anything like that. But if you're staging your own home, just use some of the fruits and vegetables that you have, display them in a nice vase, and you have a nice yellow pop of color or a pop of green. I want to talk about clutter for the moment. You might hear clutter and you think of it as a negative term, and I think it is meant as a negative term, but when we talk about clutter, that's not what we mean. Everybody has lots of knickknacks and keepsakes and things that they got on their travels, and the way they live their life, putting their keys here, taking off your watch, your earrings, you have things set around. That's considered clutter. But it is not a negative thing. But when it comes to staging your home to sell, it actually is something that we want to take care of, something we want to look at, but it isn't a negative thing because we all know that we have all kinds of things that we set around. But when it comes time for the photographs and for staging, we definitely want to clear the decks. You hear me say that a lot. Clear the decks in the kitchen, clear the decks in the counters, in the bathroom, clear the decks. Also on top of a dresser, you want to clear the decks. You want to have just a few little highlights, pieces of artwork or something like that, but you want it to be kind of empty. You want it to look like there's a lot of room. And when there's a lot of little items, it doesn't feel like it's that big or it has that much room. Another thing we did with this is it has the clear panels here. And you can actually see some of the clothing and the different colors of clothing. And that's really distracting in the photos. So what we did is we took a piece of white paper and we put it in front of the clothing. And what that does is in the pictures, it just kind of blurs out the fact that this is full of clothes, which we all know that it is. I mean, this is an occupied listing. Of course, there's going to be clothing in the dressers, but it just blurs that out just a little bit. So your focus is more on the where you'd put a dresser and the layout of the room, and not on going, what is in that drawer and why is that red color that I can see? Your eye doesn't worry about that, and it just looks over at the overall landscape and it really appreciates it. Some of the special features that you have in a listing or in a home that you're going to sell is something you want to highlight. One of those things is this security window. Now, it was covered up with pieces of furniture before, so you didn't really see what it was in its functionality. So what we did, we opened up the screen in the back, and then we highlighted this. To highlight it, we put a little lacy curtain. So we're balancing the metal pieces, the heaviness, the security portions of it with nice light lace. And it really balances it out, but having that space, it's just really pleasing to the eye, and it's pleasing to buyers when they come in and they feel like there's a couple of different ways that they can enjoy the room. Now in the bathroom, one of the challenges can be potentially paint colors. It could be the flooring, the granite, that sort of thing. So what you want to do is obviously tie all these things in. So when we're talking about staging a home to sell, we aren't meaning remodeling a house or renovating a house. What we're talking about is staging it to sell. So we normally go with the paint color, the granite, of course, the flooring. We really want to roll with it. So in this particular case, we have kind of this tanny peachy color, and we had kind of a green granite and tan floors. So one of the things that we did is we brought in this green plant, and it has kind of a pinky colored flower on it. It draws in the green with the granite, the tan with the flooring. And so we brought that in. And then we brought in some artwork. We did the shells in here and the shower curtain with the blue shells. And to give it a pop of color, because everything's a little bit on the neutral side, we brought in this bright blue, royal blue towels. And as you can see, the towels really give it a pop. And you might go, ooh, that might be a little bit bright for me. But in the photos and the drama of it, with it coordinating and all the colors, really adds a lot to the neutral tones. Thanks for sticking to the end. And as promised, I've got your bonus question. What is the #1 mistake that homeowners make when staging their home to sell? It's different for everybody, but it is the same in many ways in every single homeowner. Staging your home to sell is exactly that. It's not staging your home to live, it's staging your home to sell. So what we want to do, and what we do every time that we stage a home, is you make sure that your home speaks for itself, and you want it to speak to your buyer. You do not want it to speak for that collection. You don't want to have it speak for where you like to watch TV and what angle you like, or the fact that you like the curtains pulled because you like it a little bit darker, or maybe you don't put all the bulbs in your bathroom fixture because you don't like it so bright. That's a mistake. And you have to take yourself out of the equation a little bit and get your house as its own unit and its own thing, and it's trying to sell itself. And you want to sell the floors, the walls, all the stuff that stays with the home. You don't want to sell your items or the way that you like to live. And that's the #1 mistake that homeowners make. Thinking of selling your home and want your home to ace all of its interviews? Well, then get in touch with us. My information is below, and we'd be happy to sit down with you and have a free consultation on what we can do to help prep your home so it can ace its interviews and take you from before until after and sell your home for top dollar, even in the toughest markets.
A new place, a new home for a while. Let me feel alive. Nothing to hold me back. Take my time, just enjoy the ride. A new man passing by. Life is good, best I've ever felt. Get me up, somewhere new, somewhere I can find myself. I feel As I reach out, reach out, reach out, reach out to the sky, I found my way, I found my way. I was in the dark against it all, but made it through the day, 'cause I found my